Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you first and foremost for being here. My name is Brandon Rizzuto. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director here at the University of New Orleans. A few housekeeping measures before we begin. It's an exciting month of July for us here at the university. We'll also be unveiling a new logo July 17th, Wednesday, July 17th. And to build up to that, starting Monday, July 8th, we will steadily release little pieces of our new privateer via Facebook. Please follow us on Facebook, University of New Orleans Privateers. And the new logo will be unveiled that way. And the final piece will be put in place of our puzzle, which will be Wednesday, July 17th at 12:30. And that'll be followed by a party, an unveiling party at the Warehouse Grill in the Warehouse District downtown at our good friends with Warehouse Grill. We want to thank them for housing us. It'll be a happy hour party, 6 to 8:30 p.m. We hope that you'll be there and be a part of our privateer renaissance and being back in Division I and in the Southland Conference. With that said, we'll begin our press conference, but before we begin, just a little breakdown of today's event. Dr. Foss, University President Dr. Peter J. Foss, will get up and say a few words, followed by our Athletics Director Derek Morrell, who will then introduce our new head coach, and then after that, our head coach will say a few words, take some questions, and then we'll break off into one-on-one interviews. If you have requests for one-on-one interviews with a student athlete or our new coach, president, athletic director Derek Morrell, please see Jason Plotkin. Where's Jason at? We'd like to thank Jason Plotkin, our sports information director, for all his hard work in helping putting this together here today. Once again, one-on-one interviews, please check with Jason or myself after we have our session with Coach. That said, I'd like to welcome up University President Dr. Peter J. Foss.
Thank you very much. It was about March a year ago in a room across the hall when I made a decision that we would remain Division I. As I said then, this university deserves to be the best in everything it does, and athletics is just one of those areas. So I'm very proud that everyone's here today, and I think, as Derek would say, the renaissance of privateer athletics is really moving on. Yesterday was a very important day for us as well, as that was the first day as official members of the Southland Conference, which I announced in this room in August. And Tom Burnett, the commissioner of the Southlands, came down from Dallas to be with us. Thank you, Tom. On behalf of all the faculty, students, and staff at the University of New Orleans, welcome to our campus. Welcome to the nightkeep of Lakefront Arena for this very important announcement. This is just another step as we try to raise the profile of the university and using athletics to help us. There are several people here that I need to recognize, several former student athletes. Some come from pretty far distances. First, Paul Neri is here, who's now the coach of the LSU Tigers. George Perez, who was a teammate of Paul. The next person probably came the furthest, Randy Bush, came in from Chicago. Played here as a privateer, 2 World Series rings, I think, and is now the assistant general manager of Chicago Cubs. We're very happy you're here. Joe Bennett, who's my old friend, is here. Joe played on the Division II team that went to the College World Series in Springfield, if I remember correctly. If Clem explained it to me correctly. Dave Grieve is here, who played at the University of Louisiana. Manny Coletti is here. And Jim Cropard is here. Also, we have another person who's very important to all of us since we're a state-supported university. The state senate president of Louisiana is here, John Alario. And I really appreciate that. I've had the opportunity to work really close with legislature my first 18 months here as president, and he's been very helpful, and we appreciate him. I don't see any other elected officials here, so good, I won't skip anybody. Again, this is another step toward bringing the university back and raising its profile to the great university it once was and beyond. And as an alumnus of the university, I'm very proud to serve as president and to actually have today's event. Thank you very much.
At this time, we'll welcome up Athletics Director Derek Morrell.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody's attendance with us today. It's a fantastic day, beautiful outside, beautiful inside. So we welcome you here today back to Lakefront Arena, to our privateer room for this great event. If you'll indulge me first, I'd like to thank a few VIPs for their support throughout the entire year, really, of our evolution and our renaissance. But first and foremost, I think it's most important that we recognize our baseball student athletes, both our current and our incoming student athletes, the young men that are sitting to my right, to your left, who have been leaders throughout this process, who have been patient and forthright and bear with us. And more than anything else, they believed in what this university is about, believe what the program's about, believe the mission of Dr. Foss and his administration, and they've stuck with us. And I want our 5 seniors who have been with us since day one and through this process, that have shown great leadership and poise, to stand. Trevor, Reese, Ray, Brian. Thank you. We promised them 4 weeks ago we worked diligently to get to this day, and I think we came close to delivering, if not exactly 4 weeks to July 1. We're pretty darn close, so thanks. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Morgan Barger, who's home in Pennsylvania. He's our 5th senior, who's not with us today, but we'll be excited to be back, and I'm sure to be on the phone with our new head coach here shortly. I also want to thank our coaching staff, Coach Garcia, Juries, and Coach Villan, for what they did throughout this transition to help me guide the program in the last 30 days and keep this thing moving forward. So we appreciate you guys for what you've done and in that leadership role. Dr. Foss and your administration, thanks for believing that Division I means something and it's valuable to our university. We know in athletics, and we take very seriously our responsibility to the university. When we do things at a high level, when we operate at a high level, we're a valuable resource to this university, and that's our intention, is to operate at a very high level and to bring pride and passion back to the privateers and privateer alumni. I want to thank our baseball alumni, not only for coming today, but for your loyalty and passion for the program. It's noticed, it's appreciated, and it's admired. So thank you very much. You all are some of the most loyal that I've been around, and we appreciate that very much. Commissioner Burnett and the Southland Conference, thanks for believing in us, for believing that we can be viable, strong, and competitive members in the league, which we intend to be. So we thank you very much for that. I want to thank Marco Perez and our partners here at Lakefront Arena. They never seem to amaze us with pulling things off last minute. We appreciate your help on this, Marco, and helping us get this pulled off. And finally, to my athletic administration team, I have a group of young, dynamic professionals who have worked with me side by side throughout the last year or thereabouts, as soon as we filled out most of our team, but also through this process to help us get this and manage it the best we can, keep it together. So I want to thank all those guys who are here with us today. So now moving on to the real fun stuff, and let me tell you a little bit before we get down the road about what we're about. And when I say that, what our program's about and why we're here today. We've talked, our coaches, we talk daily about what's important and why we're in this business. And we're in this for the young women and young men who represent our university as Division I student athletes. We talk about that daily. We talk about creating an atmosphere and an experience for them that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. We talk about a culture, a championship culture, building a culture where we're going to help develop these young men not only into the best athletes and students and citizens they can be while they're here, but also developing them into the best men, the best fathers, the best husbands, the best employees, and the best citizens they can be when they graduate from UNF. And those are important principles for us. We live by those every day, and everything we try to do, we do with our student athletes in mind. Of course, we want to win championships, and that's part of it. And building championship culture comes along with it. And in order to build championship culture, you have to have leaders. I'm very proud of our head coaches. They've done a lot with little to nothing over the last few years. That's changing, thanks to Dr. Foss and leadership, and thanks to, obviously, our alumni and our supporters. But we're changing that daily, and we're getting better and better every day. But one of the most important things we needed to do when we went through this process was to find a great leader. So 31 days ago, we set off on a journey to try to identify who could be a great leader for what has been arguably, if not the most successful program, certainly one of our most successful programs and most recognized at this university in the 50-plus years we've been operating. And you know, we weren't surprised. I'll tell you, I was not surprised that we had an overwhelming response of very highly qualified candidates for this position. In fact, on May 31st, we got 2 phone calls that day asking about the job. A little premature, but we got a few calls that first day. As we embarked and went a little further down the road, We had interest from BCS level head coaches. We had interest from high level and capable assistant coaches at the Division I level. We had interest from individuals who have great ties to the privateer program. And as we sat back, and my staff and I went through 10 days of, which was a great opportunity and great for us to have conversations with the individuals that we identified as finalists for this position. We had great conversations, had great background evaluations, had great discussions. Really, it was difficult to look at who might be best fit to come and lead this program. And as we looked at that, we said, well, you know, we can go in one of two ways with this thing. We can go this way, but in the meantime, I also knew that this was more than about wins and losses. Right now, it's more than about balls and strikes. This is about a program and the foundation for a program. What does that mean? Well, we can field a team. We can field a team tomorrow. We can build a program which has deep roots that takes time and effort and commitment, and that will lead to consistency, stability, and a championship mentality for years to come. And that really, when Dr. Foss and I sat down this weekend and really evaluated the great individuals that had applied, and I want to thank them for their interest in our program, and that to me is a testament to the alumni who have played here, for the coaches that have coached here, and to the young men that are in the program now. Because of that tradition, people know that there's something great here. And as we looked at it, we decided we need more than a baseball coach right now. We need somebody who's going to make a difference in our community, that's going to make a difference for our university, and that's going to lead us to championships in the very near future. And it was clear to us that there's really one man that could do that. And so as Dr. Foss and I decided to take a little bit of a detour, we approached our soon-to-be introduced new head coach and asked before I asked if he would have any interest. I had to preface by saying I'm not out of my mind. I'm going to let you know right now, but I'm going to ask you if you'd consider coming back and being part of what we're building here. And I knew full well, and knowing Coach like I've gotten to know him, that team comes first. He told me I need to talk to my family, and that certainly is his team first and foremost. But I respect and admire that even more than I did before after he gave me those comments. And so as we talked over a short period of time and got to a point where I think we all felt comfortable that this was a great move for our university, great move for our program, and we really believe a great move for the community and our city as we raise the profile of the University of New Orleans and raise the profile of our baseball program. So I'm not going to get into stats. Everybody seems to know the record and the history books and the stats. Two things mean the most in the baseball world, I think, and that's Hall of Fame and College World Series, and those things go without saying. But at this point, I think it's a great humbling honor for me and a privilege to introduce our new head baseball coach, Coach Ron Maestri.
Wow, thank you. That's so nice. First of all, Commissioner Burnett, thank you for coming. You know, Tom was at the Sun Belt, and this has been a long while back, and boy, we've come full circle, but Commish, thank you for being here. My best friend out here, Tim Floyd, he has as much responsibility for all this that's going on. I just went into your old office, and it's a hell of a lot nicer now than when you were here, Tim. But Tim, thank you. You know, in 1971, I had an athletic director, Ron Green, and a chancellor, Dr. Homer Hitt, who took a chance on a young coach. I was 30 years old. And, you know, Dr. Hitt said, Mace, I won't put any handcuffs on you. We don't have a lot of money. Just go to work. And I've been working ever since. I would have not taken this job if it weren't for Derek Morrell and Dr. Peter Foss. I didn't even consider it. And this was, when Derek came to my office that day, and this is about a week and a half ago, whatever, and he said, I've got all these people calling. And I feel bad. I said, you know, I don't know what's going on, and I'm just telling them to send the resumes. He said, Mace, forget that. I want to talk to you. He said, we want you to come back. and I think I almost fell off my chair on the desk. And I did. I told them that I would have to talk to my family and talk to Sue and the kids and the grandkids, and all they know is Papa's Field is at Zephyr Stadium, but there's a new Papa's Field that they're gonna go see after a while. So that's exciting. Let me give you a little brief history. You know, when we came here in '71, basically I had an open field, no fence, and the kids called the dugouts a lean-to because it had 4 poles and a roof over the top. And you know, we recruited, and we had the guys, and some of them are here, Joe Bennett, and that were on that first '74 team that played for the World Series National Championship. And what a group of guys. I was fortunate. I had guys, I said my recruiting, I'm not gonna recruit prima donnas, Jim Kropag's back there, Manny and all you guys, but I want guys that'll work, and they came out and they'd cut the grass and they'd help me and they'd do things. And George Perez blew up the shed one day when we were trying to refill the tractor. But that '74 team really propelled this program. And as we got better and as we went on, Chancellor Hitt's dream was to be Division I. And I know it was very controversial for him. And I know he took a lot of heat to make that decision. And so we became Division I, and the rest is history. And, you know, I got the guys that are here, and Randy and George and Paul, and all these guys just were unbelievable, not only players, but student athletes. When I talk about the student athletes and you young guys sitting here, you know, I've got a lot to learn, particularly Doc says I gotta take a test. And you know, you ever had that dream sometime, you're dreaming and you gotta take a test tomorrow? Well, I feel that way. Commissioner Burnett, tell me it's not hard because, but I gotta take a rules test. But let me tell you something about academics. The academic part of it is so important, and I'm going to tell you guys, it's all about going to class. It's be very simple. If you don't go to class, you don't play. I'm too old and to change the ways, but that's why you're here and your parents send you here, and you're going to get your degree, and it's going to come from a great university, the University of New Orleans. Let me tell you about a couple of these guys. You know, they call it an APR. I don't know, help me with this, Commish, APR. You know, they came up with all of this stuff and about kids graduating. Well, we had kids graduating. Unfortunately, back in those days, they counted together. I got Randy Bush that played 13 years in the big leagues. He decides when his last year, he said, Mace, I want to finish my degree. He needed 30 hours. He came back, he got his degree in finance. He didn't take basket weaving, he got it in finance. But he's got his degree, but he counted against us because of those silly rules. Palmineri went out and played pro ball. Came back after playing pro ball, was in Miami, got his degree. And that's what it's about, guys. And I'm going to have a great support system here. I know Dr. Short and everybody else and Dr. Foss's staff. We're going to make sure you graduate because I want you back here some year after you played 13 years in the big leagues and have a chance to come back like these guys with your degree. That's number one. Number two, we're going to play the right way. We're going to respect the game. We're going to dress like a ball player. The one thing I can't stand, and my good friend John Jay is here, and John said, Mace, the one thing I admired when I came to watch you play was you always dressed. You guys always look good. And there's a reason for that. My old college coach, we could not play a game. We had to have our shoes polished, and he had to check our shoes. And back then, you know what? I thought it was ridiculous until I started coaching, and I say, hey, if you look good, you play good. And we're going to act like a player on and off the field, and that's important to us. We want you in the community. We want you to help. We want you to give back. And all of those things are going to be about the program that we're going to attempt to build. I'd like to thank the current coaching staff to keep this thing together. The last few years have certainly not been very easy. I have no idea who we're playing except Maestri, and he had to ruin my day. He said, just remember, Mace, you're facing NOLA on Friday. A real nice guy. But I have no idea what our schedule is. I don't know who's coming back. I don't know who we recruited, but I can tell you one thing. I'm excited, and I'm going to give you guys the best that I've got. Hopefully, you know, that's for a few more years. You know, I see Tim Floyd. I see Tim Floyd, and I know Paul Maestri. You know, basketball coaches have shoe contracts. Baseball, Paul's got a bad contract, a glove contract. I got a call from AARP last week. They've signed me to a 5-year deal, and I think that's a hell of a thing. You know, we talk about academics. I want to tell you a little story, and some guys can relate to this. When I first came here, we brought some kids in, and I told my wife, I swear, we're going to make sure the next guys come in can study. And back then they had midterm grades, and we're sitting out in the lean-to, and the midterm grades come in. And I'm out there, and I'm going around to the ball club, I'm saying, Joe, what did you have? And of course, Joe Bennett, I had 3 A's and a B, coach. Great job, Joe. Poopy, what did you have? 2 B's, 2 C's. Great, great job. I said, Joel, what did you have? He said, Coach, I had a full house. I said, what's a full house? He said, 3 F's and 2 D's. I knew right then we had to recruit somebody that could pass and would go to class. And believe me, we're going to do that. All right, why am I back? Well, I'm back because this is where I spent 30 years of my life, my previous life. 30 years of building something, a great tradition. And these guys are a test to that. I'm back because I believe in Dr. Foss, his administration, and Derek, and what they want to do. And I'm excited to get out there to work with you guys. Believe me, we're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. People say, well, the game has changed. You know, today they're talking about the bats, the ball's going anywhere. Let me tell you, when I recruited Paul Maestri, and I had Paul tells me that I held him from being in the big leagues to this day. I made him bunt too much. I made him sacrifice too much. And you know what? With today's bats, we're going to bunt. He said, I never let him hit 1-0. I made him take a strike. Manny Coletti's back here. He took more strikes than an Iraqi runway. Manny Coletti led the nation in walks that year. We had Mike Quaddy behind him hitting to right field. We were first and third every inning. And Kevin McGann could hit the ball the other way. Paul Maestri at the bottom of the order, complaining to me all the time. Mates, you're holding me back. I got to get you, Maestri. I got to get you. But I'm back because I want to give something back. And when Derek and how about this? How does this ever happen? Derek came out to the office that day. I said, I got to talk to my family. I'm sitting at my house, and I think my wife and my kids would call me technologically declined, not inclined. But my phone went off, and here's a text from President Foss. What's your hat size? And that meant a lot, Doc. I appreciate that. I told him my head's really big, and if I'd have known that this was going to happen, I'd applied for the Auburn job, because that guy's getting paid $650,000. cannot believe it. I told Dr. Foss, I want one more dollar than he's got. It wasn't about the money. And the other thing is I'm back because we got to get that privateer pride back. I see so many people out there that have helped me along the way. John Alario, Harry Morrell, Ren Green, my guy that's always praying for me, and that means a lot. I need a lot of prayers. Glenn Scorsoni, and all you guys, and all these people, Jay Romick, Lewis, back in the back, all you people, Jerry, all you guys have been with me, Jay, way back when we started this thing. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Joe Sherman's in the back, Judge Saper's in the back. These people have been with me for a long time. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I need your help. I need your help. This isn't gonna be easy. I didn't think it was gonna be easy. I didn't take it because it was gonna be easy. But I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot easier than when I started in 1971. Somebody said, Mace, you're gonna have to ride a bus. I said, a bus? We used to have vans. We'd meet at 7 o'clock to drive to McNeese. We'd get off at 11 o'clock, we'd go to McDonald's, great pregame meal, play a doubleheader, get in the van and drive all the way back. And Derek tells me now the bus have Wi-Fi, that means nothing to me. They got all this stuff. You guys will be playing the Wi-Fi, I'll be asleep. But I want to build the pride that this great university had. And I know under Dr. Foss's leadership and his administrators that are here, we're going to do that. And I'm not here just to serve baseball. I'm here to serve the university. I see Marco, I see everybody over here, Dunny and Margaret and you people. I'm here to help. And we're going to get this thing back. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank, I see in the back, I see Mike Schlein, Walter. I talked to Don, Don Beaver and the Zephyr organization for giving me a chance to get back to baseball after I left the Sports Foundation. And so this is going to be fun. We've got a lot of work, but you know what? With all of us pulling together, and it's all about team, and I got Gabe over there, I know he'll help. We are going to do something, and we're going to have fun doing it. Before I close, I'd like to introduce my brain trust here. My wife of 47 years, coming in August, Sue. You know, you talk to my grandkids, who's the best grandma? Huh? Yeah, right there. My two children, Chrissy and her two boys and her husband Kevin, Jake and Noah. My son John, his wife Rhonda, my lovely little girl Allie, and my buddy here, Zach Attack. And you know, they were behind me before, hopefully they're behind me now, and I'm gonna need a lot of help. I wanna thank all of you for coming, and it means a lot to me, and we're gonna give it our best, and I need all your help. Pipes and Dave and Lawrence, and you know, Dave's my agent, Pipes is my rug carpet guy, Lawrence committed me to the assessor's job, and thank God I've got friends like that. I see Brett sitting back there, and just so many. Billy, all you guys have meant so much to me. Gio, I thank you. God bless, and let's go Privateers. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'll be glad to glad to answer or whatever. We'll do one-on-ones. Thank you for everybody.
Okay.